Yeah, what's good? Another episode of Delite Side of Life. Yeah, it's been a while. Sorry for the wait. Things happen, life happens, but we back at it again. I hope you're good. I hope you're healthy and well. Yeah, a lot of things are going on in the world, but I don't just want to press on topics that are being spoken of today and yesterday, because we're all speaking about it anyway. I'd rather delve into something that we're not on and to see if you guys can relate in some way or maybe can learn from what I want to speak on. Um, yeah, the premise is I was watching a podcast, a very funny podcast I like to watch of a guy called Corey Holcomb, comedian, and he had a pastor friend of his on the podcast. And like from way back, and usually he has his friends like comedian friends, and now he brought along a childhood friend who's the pastor. And so the comedians were doing what comedians do, but I saw the pastor was getting very uncomfortable because of the questions the comedians were asking, and I would assume that they are not religious, at least in the Christian religion, because not only were they asking questions and trying to find contradictions in in the Bible and such, but they were also very like trying to recruit, if I could say it that way, like trying to convince someone that what he is following, what the pastor is following or what he believes in is probably not for him, instead of just saying, because I mean, the pastor wasn't there trying to recruit them. So it's not like they're trying to say, no, I don't want to come to your church. I don't believe in it. Therefore, please leave me alone. It was more about, we don't believe in what you are following, and we think what you're following, you shouldn't be following. And for me, it's always been a big issue. And that's what I'm basing today on, religious recruits. Um, I know I'm saying it the other way around, where a non-religious person or non-religious people are trying to change the mind of someone who is very religious. But I do believe that this mindset stems a lot from religious religious groups and religious people. Um, yeah, and even judging from the way these guys were speaking to the pastor, they clearly sound like they were brought up in a religious home and those things, and then they've just moved away from the church, and therefore they came to the realization that it's not for them. And it's something I've also noticed with friends of mine here and there. You find maybe a friend is atheist and whatnot. There's a bitterness, I believe, that comes with it. And that's what creates this thing of trying to prove the religious person wrong. And sometimes you're not even being attacked, you're just the one attacking. So it's not like you're reacting to a religious person attacking you. You just randomly attacking a religious person. You'd probably even post it on your Facebook or whatever, or your post. And there's a bitterness because you feel like you've been lied to your whole life. And I was following this religion. I really believed in it. And I was fooled. And therefore, I want to make sure everyone knows that this thing is a scam, or I believe it's a scam. But I really believe it starts from religion, and specifically the Christian religion, because that's what I'm familiar with the most, and it's the most prominent in the country I live in, South Africa. So, whereby people go out of their way to recruit you to their churches. And I have an experience when I was at the State Theatre, and I was waiting for a friend to come through, and we're gonna go and work, go to studio or something. And I'm just chilling there. I'm waiting. I'm looking like, okay, I'm not occupied. I guess I'm bored. So maybe I should be bothered. But I was bothered by these two ladies. And I'm saying bothered because I clearly showed them that I'm not interested. But they came through, and they're cute girls. I won't lie. And I guess that's a part of the marketing. I don't know. But it seemed that way. And they were just speaking on me joining their church. They didn't care to ask what I believe in. They didn't care to ask my journey, what church I go to. It was all about, yo, man, come through. Wabon, they're assuming that I need to change my life. and join their church. They're assuming that I am lost in some way, wherever I'm going or whatever path I'm going down. And the weird thing at that point in my life is the weird thing is that I had left Christianity by then. Um, and this is because of my bipolar experience, of which I've spoken about in episode 4 of this podcast. But because of my experience with mental health and the way I see the world and being bipolar, it means it literally changes what I believe in. And a part of what I believe in is what led to my episode. My episode was very religious. If you were to ask people, if you go and search bipolar episode, the first thing you're going to see is Jesus Christ, especially if this person is a Christian. They're very like Jesus-like, and they were acting very spiritual, and they were saying spiritual things. It's just basically you trying to make sense of the things you believe in. And as a person, we usually believe most in our spirituality. That's the main thing in our lives. I mean, we told to prioritize that more than the girl you're dating, more than your family. So I was definitely questioning that in my episode. And my recovery led me to leaving religion, and it's brought me a lot of peace. I've had to fight my mom, like verbally and whatnot, and just argue, and to say that I can't pray to your God anymore. I'm not a Christian. I can't be your Christian son. I can't do that. And now here's these strangers who walk up to me and try and convince me to go back to something that's only made life harder for me, something I escaped. Personally, I will never say that it's because that's the point of today. I think that everything should be just follow what's for you. So I'm not against religion for other people. I'm against it for myself. So anyway, these girls are telling me, yo, man. So I'm telling them, yo, I'll listen to you, but I'm waiting for when this guy comes through, my friend comes through. Once he comes, I have to go, man. And he's already late, so he's coming anytime, any minute now. Cool. So they tell me about their church. So I'm just listening open-mindedly because though I'm not religious, I still go to church services. Sometimes you're visiting an aunt and uncle, and they're going to church on Sunday. I have to include myself. And I don't think it's going to attack my beliefs if I'm around something I don't believe in. I don't think it's going to compromise me in any way. And I think there's a lot of stuff you could still learn from religion. That usually there's still a wise man standing in the front of the church leading the congregation. And there's a lot of stuff you could learn, life lessons on everything. I mean, career, relationships. So I'm not dismissive at all. So I'm listening to them and seeing, okay, what they have to tell me. But the thing that bothered me the most, I rejected their offer to come to the church, right? But so they kept trying to say, well, why not? Why aren't you religious anymore? Once I told them that I'm not. And the thing is, now my friend arrives. So my friend is sitting here. He has no idea what's going on. We have to go. I'm trying to let them know that I have to leave, please. This guy's also confused because I'm busy talking to you guys. He doesn't know whether he should mac on you guys. He doesn't know if you're like a part of my entourage and we're all going to studio and it's going to be lit. So he's just there allowing them to continue talking. And I want to cut it short. And the thing is, one of the ladies said to me, so what if I was Jesus? What if this was Jesus standing in front of you and you were trying to go to studio instead of listening to Jesus? Yeah, I wouldn't lie. I was waiting for a moment like that, but I never thought it would come. So I told her, you're not Jesus. That's the thing. You're not Jesus. She's like, no, what if I was? So I'm like, okay, cool. What are you? She said, no, she said she's a student. And so is the other one. Like they study at TUT at the time. So I'm like, cool. Let's say I came to you guys. Why you believe in the church you believe in or the God you believe in. And I come to you just before an important examination at TUT. And I say, yo, drop that church or whatever. Like, follow me. I'm going to, I want to tell you about my God, my, my Messiah and all of those things. Would you genuinely just leave your commitments for me, a stranger you just met now, over the things that have been in your life, like what you're studying and what you have to go and write, the exam you have to go and write. On top of that, the religion you believe in, which was probably introduced to you by parents of whom you know, and they've built trust within you, so therefore you followed the religion that they gave to you or whatever it is. I really can't, I can't choose you guys over my current commitments in 5 minutes. Besides that, you're not very convincing, right? You're just people who are here trying to emotionally, I don't know what to say, but emotional, blackmail. Yeah. And yeah, so that's a very prominent thing, man. I just I need to mention those moments, to show, yeah, what's really frustrated me and why. And I just see it countlessly with people who can't really speak for themselves, people who don't really know why they are not comfortable or don't want to follow this person, people who are not as outspoken. And I really think our biggest issue is, and this is why people use this tactic, it's that we have a group mentality that, and people are scared to be individual. People are scared to just believe in one thing alone. And this is why you might come to me and tell me to join your religion or join your church under the pretense that it's to save me, a stranger you've never met. But I think it's more about you feeling more comfortable in what you are following, because you feel as though if it's just five of us, if it's just 1,000 of us in a country of 50 plus 50 million, over 50 million people, there must be something wrong with what I'm following. Like, let's first recruit them. If everyone agrees with this messaging, or, maybe it's more true. Maybe it is what you guys are saying it is. And I know that the churches and stuff use this method to say that, a part of your commitment to your God and stuff is to recruit people and to help people or to save people. Going into now like churches like Jehovah's Witness, where they literally come and knock on your door. I think it's very strategic, very smart though, to come on a Sunday morning, knowing that usually, if I'm gonna find people at home on a Sunday, they probably don't belong to a church. But I really think we need to be honest with why we're doing these things. Why those comedians on that show I was watching felt the need to convince this pastor that what he believes in is not for him or is not the truth, when he's just a guy they met right now. And I think this goes into what I also want to bring up, how weird we are as human beings, not realizing where we actually come from. But this is me and what I believe in. Not fully what religion would say, but I believe we are all products of the earth. We are all animals, right? And then we became what we deem as civilized. We built a world and we live differently from actual animals. But in that thinking, for us to get to where we are, came with individualism. Whereas you go and look at animals who have always lived in a very group mentality, and that's why they always have lived the same way. A specific species has been the same way 100 years compared to now. There's no real evolution in the way they build their nests, let's say, like a bird, or the way that the lion hunts. And if there are any adjustments in that way, it's because of a human being's impact in their environment. Let's say we put them in a Kruger National Park, so therefore we've cut up, or we've limited their space, so where they can roam around and facilities, and therefore that's what evolution. Well, that's the evolution that came about with how they live. But for the most part, animals live the same way. They've always been doing that. And what has made us different from animals is that we think more than just survival, right? We think convenience. So it's like, okay, I don't just want to hunt every day. I want to like save my food, and I want to figure out how to like how to say preserve my food, and we created refrigeration and all of this stuff and ways to preserve food, and that allowed us to go and do other things, because your whole day you're not spending trying to feed yourself, because that's what animals do. They just feed themselves every day. That's the goal for the day. We do that too, but we found another system, a longer route. But we see it as a shorter route, because okay, I just go and get money. Someone else is actually a hunter who is like the farmer and stuff, and then I just go to the farmer, or I go to the grocery store and I buy the food that they've been hunting, and that's their job. They're like they hunt and I live life. And yeah, that's what we did. We said, okay, we want to be different from our animals. We want to move away from that. We want to be individual. I want to think the way I think. I want to believe in what I believe in. I want to wear the top that I like to wear. That's why with clothing, it's very, you can have your own identity by how you dress. You can have your own identity by the way you cut your hair. Whatever you do, it's up to you. It's freedom is what is the best word I could use. But it's crazy that maybe it's not crazy. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe it's really who we are. Is that we are not able to fully be individual. We are always animals. We always need to roll in a group. And it shows even in our confidence, and when someone has a new idea and they need to recruit a few more people to come along with this idea for them to think that it's worth pursuing, or that it's a great idea. And that's why people with businesses have business partners. Besides the resources that a business partner would bring, it's the fact that there's someone who also believes in this idea and makes it and gives it, it has affirmed my idea, and therefore, okay, cool, let me go with it, let me run with it. And that's the issue. It's that we are individual and we push for it and think the way you do and believe in what you do, but except in these things, except in religion. No. When it comes to praying, I pray this way. Yeah. When it comes to living, live in this way. That's why we have countries, or we have uniform in certain things, and there's a lot of control. There's a lot of control, and I don't think it's very healthy, especially if it's not what we've signed up for. If we think that we are being individual when we're not. If we're not being honest with what's really going on. And that's where the frustration comes from with religion and religious groups. And the religious person would always feel as though they are doing the right thing. My pastor said I should do this. The Bible says I should do this. I should recruit you. And they won't see the fault in it. But you also frustrated on the other end, and you're going to react, you won't react accordingly. Because you're also frustrated. You also think you're right. And you're not fully understanding of where this person is coming from. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And from this going into social media, it's the exact same thing if you think about it. Social media is all about shared ideologies, right? There's groups, there's a group mentality. Even if you don't sign up for a group, there's a mob that somehow comes about because someone tweeted this thing, and then we all just go for this person in a certain tone, in a certain way. And if you feel differently, you know that there's a risk that comes with it. And I just hate that. It just doesn't allow for us to continue being humans. It doesn't allow for us to continue being individual and to come up with new ideas, because we're limited. We like, okay, you're only allowed to do this. You're only allowed to think this way. One thing I don't like is how Kanye West handles mental health, or how he speaks on it, right? Because I'm bipolar and he's said to be bipolar. Cool. But I do value, even with some of the stuff he says I don't like, including him saying 400 years of slavery. But I get it. I get the fact that we need people who do that, who push the envelope, who are not scared, who just speak their mind. I even tweeted the other day, I'm like, unpopular opinions is what makes you popular. Trying to fit in only works for so long, and it only frustrates you, because you're never going to express yourself. You're never really going to be you. There's this time when I was, I had a group of friends that I started a group with, like, I'm using group again. I was also in a group. Anyway, we were teenagers, and we had like a rap crew. And I found a way to end up leading the group in a sense, even though I wasn't appointed. But I'm just someone who has to make something happen, right? So I might have an idea here and there. I'm not going to be the last one to speak, and I'm not going to be the one who speaks the softest. I might not even have the best idea, but I'm going to try and win with my idea, because usually you like your idea. You like the color that you like, and you'd want everyone to wear that color. So I'm going to try and push for that, but in a fair way. And the funniest thing about this is that 10 years after or so, I caught up with a friend, and he mentioned how he met one of the other group members, and he was also in this group, and saying that this guy mentioned how I was such a big problem, because and Ogare, it's still bothering him, and and this dude was confused, like, why was Delite a problem? Like, no, man, Delite was always like, it was always his opinions, and it was always him. He was always the leader. He was always whatnot. So I'm speaking to this guy. I'm like, yo, dog, had I not made certain things happen, were we gonna have what we had? I designed, for instance, a logo for the t-shirts we were wearing. If I didn't design a logo, we're not even gonna have t-shirts. I was like, yo, I think we should have t-shirts. That would be nice. So I did that. Instead of waiting for people to come about and and then it takes the whole year to happen. That's what happened with the t-shirts even. They didn't have money to purchase their t-shirts. So I went to like a Mr. Price, I bought the t-shirts. I went to the printing place to find out what it costs. Then I got a payout from my dad's passing away. My dad passing away. I was finally the legal age. I was like 18 now, finally, so I could get the money that I was supposed to get, my half or whatever. And I used some of that money to go and print these t-shirts for my friends, for my group. And they said, okay, and I knew they didn't have the money now, but we needed these t-shirts. So here I am printing these t-shirts, and they would have to pay me back in the long term. And what happened? They took their time. Some people didn't even fully pay. But that was, I had to make something happen, because when you wait for people, nothing happens. My mom's house, that's the place we practiced, because no one was suggesting it. Everyone's just sitting there quiet when we say, where are we going to practice? So I'm going to say, okay, guys, I have an idea. Okay, what we're going to call the project, I have an idea. Because every day I was going to sleep thinking about this thing. I was waking up like, yo, I was excited. There's a reason why I'm one of the, I'm the only one from the group who still does music professionally. Because I really was about this, right? And it's not to say, I'm just saying in this instance, I was meant to lead, to not be scared, to not think, 10 years from now, someone's going to think I wasn't a nice guy because I spoke out loud, or I didn't care how he felt. I mean, that's not how you lead. That's not how you become a boss. That's not how you don't do that by being nice, right? Not that you should be unpleasant, not that you should be disrespectful, but you should be firm. And that's the main thing. I'm mentioning this because a lot of these groups, these religious groups, these people want to recruit these what do they call it, like the Jim Jones thing, the cults are based on people that are expected to be soft, timid, no confidence, always looking to be a follower. And therefore you are vulnerable when you're that way. And that's why people like those girls who came to me at State Theatre came to me, because they're hoping I'm someone like that. That's what it's based on. That's what a leader bases things on. They base it on, I hope you don't think like me. Because the leader won't lead a leader. But that's a big issue. We need to really look into that why do you need me to think less than you do, or less of myself? There must be something wrong with what you're teaching me. You know that if I think like you, I'll probably figure it out and open my own church. I'll probably just not join yours. I'll probably see the holes in it. Because I believe if a light is so bright, and the truth you're telling me is so truthful and so real, and it's really going to save my life, and you're doing it for me, I can see it without you trying to convince me every day, or you on my timeline, if you don't repost this, you'll go to hell, like all of that stuff is just nonsense, man. And I'd like to close it up with saying that really the purpose of life is that we all live in peace and harmony. That's it. As long as I'm happy, you happy, we all happy. Cool. You know, do what serves you. Do what serves you and only you. And allow me to do what serves me. If I'm interrupting your life with what serves me, then yes, let's have that talk of, hey, my guy, you see when you pray, your prayers are too loud. I was trying to study that time. Maybe you must join my church. You see, at my church, we pray in silence. Yeah, let me teach you. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Other than that, leave people in peace. Let people be. This goes for everything. This goes for sexuality. This goes for lifestyle, gymming. Even if you think someone is overweight, you really don't care about a stranger. Like, really, really, really. There's enough overweight people in your family to be worried so much. Or, I must point out that you are this way and you look this way. Why do we feel the need to save the world when we still haven't saved ourselves? You're still not perfect, but you're trying to perfect everyone. And yeah, I hope we can all just take something from this. I'm just ranting and just talking about what is on my mind. And yeah, let's stop recruiting, man. I really thought about this also because it was Easter weekend recently, and I hope Christians have enjoyed their weekend. I hope no one has taken offense to what I've just said or spoken on. And yeah, let's further this discussion. I'm open to anything, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I know everything, but I definitely have good intentions. And that's where I'm coming from. That's where my heart's coming from. And let's just continue just trying to be good and do good. Yeah. Thank you for listening to another episode of Delite Side of Life. Peace.